Welcome viewers to the 11th round of the 2025 season. Will you join us up in Sunderland at Warden Law, which is otherwise known as Karting North East. This circuit is one of the longest and most impressive kart circuits in the country. It's a regular on British karting calendars, and you join us in this video for the second heavyweight race of the day, where Haiden Harris is starting on pole position, having set the fastest lap of the race in race 1, where he also finished in second. Lewis Jolley, meanwhile, joins him on the front row of the grid, whilst Hassan Zafar won race 1. He's starting now in P3 for this race, having set the third fastest lap of the race in race 1, whilst Colin is starting in P4 on his first visit to Warden Law. Jack Metcalf is a Warden Law local who last raced with us at Butmore in 2024. He's starting this race in P5 alongside Carl Simmons, who's starting up in P6, whilst Alex Haig is the leading super heavyweight driver in this race. He's starting in 7th position alongside Xiaofeng Yang, who's starting up in 8th. Ashley Mason-King is the Northern Heavyweight Championship leader. He's starting down though in P9 for this race. He's starting alongside Simon Fulton, who's a regular here at Warden Law, whilst Adam Thompson is starting in 11th position alongside James Clare. So Gregory's then started down on row 7 of the grid. He did well in race 1 to finish in P3, but spent the whole race defending, hence why he had a slow fastest lap time. That's why he's starting in 13th place alongside Ian Simpson, who's making his EKS debut today, whilst Andy Laister is starting in 15th position alongside Arthur Bennett, who's very happy to be starting up in 16th. Ian Wilson is starting in 17th position. He's had a rough day at the office so far today, while Jamie Moore is making his EKS debut as he starts in 18th place ahead of James Larson, who's a fellow EKS debutant. He's starting in 19th place.
So the heavyweights lined up on the grid, ready to go for their second race of the day here at Warden Law. We'll be keeping an eye on the lights as they come on in sequence. Lights out and away we go. Haiden Harris on pole position gets a better start than Lewis Jolley, who tries to drag race him into the first corner. Fairly long run down into that first corner here at Warden Law, but it's Haiden Harris who holds on to the lead. Lewis Jolley is going to lose out on a position to Hassan Zafar. One of the drivers, Colin goes through as well, as does Jack Metcalf. So Lewis Jolley tumbles down the order a little bit. James King going through there on the inside line, as well as everyone sorts themselves out into the second half of the lap.
Yeah, a bit of a poor start there from Lewis Jolley. It's Ashley Mason-King actually just went through there. It's the brother of James King. They have identical suits, so they look exactly the same. But yeah, a bit of an unlucky start there from Lewis Jolley. It's Haiden Harris who hold on to the lead of the race, having started on pole position, and Hassan Zafar has followed him through. Hassan Zafar now up into P2 ahead of Jack Metcalf, who's making his series return today. Hasn't raced with us since last year. This is his local circuit. He's back here today and he's running all the way up now in P3. There's an overtake, I think, going on in front of him. So it was Colin who was trying to get through on Jack Metcalf there. Now he's going around the outside of him as they go through the horseshoe. Surely that won't work for Colin, as we see the setting sun in the distance. Jack Metcalf holding on to P3 for the time being, and he has held on as Colin Marshall now is trying to get the car back on him. Coming out of Paddock Bend as we reach the end of lap number 1. We've got carts side by side as well, directly in front of us. We have this Alex Haig trying to get through on Carl Simmons. He's dropped back though, and he's got Ashley Mason-King on his outside as Lewis Jolley now tries to capitalise on this to get through. He follows Alex Haig now going in to the dogleg. Is he going to be able to get this move done? I believe he is. As Lewis Jolley now is up into P7. Is he not? No, he's not. Ashley Mason-King holds it around the outside there. He holds on to 7th places now. That's another car is inside of Lewis Jolley. I believe that's Adam Thompson who's trying to get through as we head into the centre S. Is Lewis Jolley ahead? Yes, he is. Lewis Jolley now settles in 8th place.
So interesting first couple of laps then. Haiden Harris in the lead of the race ahead of Hassan Zafar, just 4 tenths of a second. That gap, as soon as you break the toe here, you've got a chance of really running away with this race, but I don't think that's going to happen for Haiden Harris as we zoom back in on our leaders, and you can see that Hassan Zafar really chasing down Haiden Harris. Now Lewis Jolley still involved in this battle as Ashley Mason-King tries to have a go at Alex Haig through the left-hander. Really able to find a way through just yet. He's going to set himself up for the end of the lap here, maybe down into the first corner, gets next it out of the final corner and gets a bit of run. Ashley Mason-King trying to find his way through. He'll go to the outside line. Lewis Jolley tries to follow him through on the inside line, can't quite find a way through. They stay as they are.
Yes, good overtaking attempt there by Lewis. Decided to back out, maybe could have kept his foot in there going through Brian's bend. Decides to pull out of it though. It's actually Mason King's gone wide there, coming out the dog leg, and Lewis Jolley, he's up the inside going into St John's. Not able to make it work there, so Lewis Jolley just holding back at the moment, choosing not to go for massive sends for the time being, and that has cost him dearly as Adam Thompson, he's now through up the inside, going through the centre S, and Adam Thompson now, he's up to P8, but Lewis Jolley trying to get the run back on him as they head into the Dunlop chicane. Who is going to go through here? You cannot go side by side through here. Lewis Jolley, he gets back ahead as Adam Thompson wisely decides to back out there and give way to Lewis. But as we're coming towards the end of lap number 2 now, we've got Hassan Zafar with Colin Marshall right behind him in the battle for second position. So it's Haiden Harris out in the lead of the race, Hassan Zafar, and then his teammate Colin Marshall right behind him. He's got the run in here coming out of Paddock Bend as we go down the Conroy Straight to bring an end to lap number 2. Colin Marshall is up the inside of Hassan Zafar in the battle for second place, heading into Brian's Bend. Colin Marshall is through. He's now up into P2, and these 3 drivers that we're seeing on screen now, they are checking out at the front because Jack Metcalf, he is now nearly 2 seconds behind these two. He's just in the corner of shot there, so he is falling back here from that pack of cars, and there is a train of cars starting to form now in the battle for third place. Currently it's Carl Simmons who's right behind Jack, in the battle for fourth place, and then we've got a whole load more cars. We've got Alex Haig followed by Ashley King, and then we've got the driver who we're on board with, which is Lewis Jolley.
Very interesting stuff. Haiden Harris still fairly comfortable in the lead of the race, 7 tenths per second at the gap now, but Hassan Zafar and Colin Marshall still battling along, this time into the end of the lap as the field go down at the back straight. Ashley Mason King is checked out ahead of Lewis Jolley a little bit, you fancy, as Jolley falls down into 8th position. But looking back in on the leaders, you can see that train has stopped forming now, and Haiden Harris is under pressure for the lead of the race. To the outside line it goes Hassan Zafar. The battle for the lead, it's Colin Marshall who goes to the outside line. Hassan Zafar just in 3rd position. Colin can't quite find a way through though into the first corner, but Haiden Harris under a lot of pressure.
Haiden Harris, remember, he's a local here at Warden Law, whereas Colin Marshall, he's never been here before, so this is Colin's first ever time racing around Warden Law. Hayden races here every month in Warden Law's in-house championship. Used to work here as well previously, so there is a very much difference in track knowledge here, but it wouldn't show it, would it? With the speed of Colin Marshall, he's keeping up with with Haiden Harris. He just set the fastest lap of the race as well with 1 minute 7.8. Very long laps here at Warden Law. It's a very long circuit, 1.2 kilometres in length. Colin Marshall, you can see off in the distance, still right behind Haiden Harris, trying to get through on him. So these two, they drive for kind rival this, whereas Hassan Zafar is part of the Connecticut Racing team, although the front two are also part of the Connecticut Racing team in other series. As we're going back on board now with Lewis Jolley, that is Kyle Simmons, who's just got through on Jack Metcalf going in to Gasworks Bend, and it's Alex Haig now, I believe, up the inside of Jack Metcalf as they come out of Paddock Bend. Jack Metcalf, he's falling down the order here. That was unlucky for him there, just got overtaken at the wrong moment in time, and he's been stuck on the left hand side of the track with Ashley Mason King and Lewis Jolley coming through now as well. So that's spotlight there for Jack Metcalf, who will be ruining the fact that he didn't defend into Gasworks Bend. Kyle Simmons slotted his way through, and Kyle Simmons is now up into 4th position, whilst Alex Haig is going defensive now against Ashley Mason King into St John's, but he's holding on to his 5th place, which he has now gained from Jack Metcalf.
5 minutes to go in this race then, as Ashley Mason King looks to the outside line. This is that battle. He's trying to get into 6th position, but not able to find a way through just yet on Alex Haig. He stays where he is for the time being. Lewis Jolley in the background, still trying to make something of this battle, but it's not really working for him at the moment. I'd like to see battle for the lead very, very shortly. As you can see, all of a sudden Colin Marshall is right on the back of Haiden Harris and will actually be putting pressure on him into the final corner. Lewis Jolley, meanwhile, still trying to find a way on Ashley Mason King. Not working for now as Haiden Harris defends to the inside line. Colin Marshall will have to jinx the outside if he wants to try and make a move here. Hayden's got him covered, and he's not letting that one go that easily. 1/10 of a second is the gap at the lead of the race, just 7 tenths back to 3rd place Hassan Zafar. So all three well in contention to win this race into the last 4 minutes. Lewis Jolley is still on at the back of Ashley Mason King as well.
Alex Haig doing a great job here as the leading heavyweight driver. He's running up in P5, but you say he's got Ashley Mason King right on his back bumper. Alex going slightly defensive then, going into the centre as we've got 4.5 minutes left of this race. Remember, it's Hassan Zafar who won race 1. He is a regular now in the heavyweight class. He'll be hoping for a good result here. You can see further back as well on the drone shot, there's Simon Fulton going side by side with Sol Gregory into the Dunlop chicane. That is remarkable that the two of them just managed to go through there side by side. It's a very tight and narrow chicane with tyres on both the sides of the circuit. So they did a good job there running side by side. It's a spinner out there in the back of shot. That's Ian Simpson who's just gone round at Gasworks Bend. I think he was looking at the inside of the car in front of him then, and he just locked up and panicked as now Alex Haig is on the inside of Carl Simmons in the battle for 4th place in this huge train of cars. Now side by side going down the Cromwell Straight. Alex Haig being a super heavyweight driver, he's got a weight disadvantage here to the drivers around him, and that is showing as Ashley Mason King tries to go around. He's outside. Lewis Jolley now going to the inside of Ashley Mason King, going through Brian's Bend, becomes the inside again for Dogleg, but he's been squeezed there onto the curb on the inside of the circuit, and Ashley Mason King has managed to hold on to sixth position, as now we've got this huge train of cars. I count 10 or 11 cars now in this train. Ashley Mason King up to the inside of Alex Haig, going through the centre S. Lewis Jolley now back up the inside of Ashley Mason King, going through the second part of the centre S, and it is Lewis Jolley now through. He's been trying to get through, and Ashley Mason King now throughout all of this race, but Ashley Mason King holds on for the time being as James Clare, you can see from the drone shot, is now right behind Lewis Jolley. Andy Lacer's got through on Adam Thompson, and Lewis Jolley's back up the inside again of Ashley Mason King, going into Gasper's Bend. We are now 3 abreast going through the horse show. Andy Lacer is now at the inside of James Clare, who was briefly alongside Lewis Jolley there. James Clare back up the inside now of Andy Lacer, but it's Andy Lacer who's now through. He's coming through the field in this race, and as we come across the start finish line, Andy Lacer is now up into 8th position.
Good move for Andy Lacer. Saw the opportunity and took it with both hands. We've got a battle for the lead of the race as well. Still just 500ths of a second between our leaders when they crossed the line last time around. Colin Marshall is the fastest man on the track at the moment.
Just saw a crash in the distance as well for Ian Wilson. He's just gone off at Dogleg. Ian Wilson was running in P16, Zhao Feng Yang was running in 17th place, and Ian Wilson has gone off, and I'm hearing it was a takeout there unfortunately by Zhao Feng Yang, and he has now received a 30-second penalty for that incident at the Dogleg. Andy Lacer is now through at the inside of Lewis Jolley going into the Dunlop chicane.
So we'll either have 1 or 2 laps left when they get to the line. I think probably heading on to the penultimate lap this time, and you can see the leaders could not be separated by much less. Colin Marshall still sitting in 2nd position as we go on to the penultimate lap of the race. We've got Haiden Harris looking over his shoulder. He's trying to defend once again. We'll just white line the cart into the first corner, and it means that there is no way through for Colin Marshall. Hassan Zafar, frustratingly, on the back of this train, hasn't really been able to make as much progress as he would have liked. I think Luke here, as you can see, Lewis Jolley looking to take advantage of a slow running Andy Lacer and gets around him and through.
Yeah, Lewis Jolley's through. Just got a yellow flag here for that barrier prayer for that incident with Ian Wilson on the previous lap. But yeah, Lewis Jolley's back through on Andy Lacer there, so he's now up into 7th position. We've got this battle for 4th place continuing to brew. Alex Haig doing a great job here, like I say, as the top super heavyweight driver, running up in P5. This is one of his best drives of the season. He finished 2nd here, remember, earlier this year at this round. He was fantastic in the wet here. It was his first visit here to Warden Law when we came in February. This is now his first time driving around this circuit in the dries. He's now eyeing up Kyle Simmons right in front of him. He's got to keep an eye though on Ashley Mason King, who is right behind him. He's going slightly defensive there into Gasworks Bend just to deter Ashley from going for a move. As we see now the leaders, you've got Ian Wilson returning to the pit lane. I think he might be slightly injured. We've got the leaders coming on to the last lap. Hassan Zafar, he's caught right up to the back of Colin Marshall, who's still right on the back of Haiden Harris. We come into the final lap of the race. We've also got this battle still for 4th place. Alex Haig got a slight overlap there on Kyle Simmons going down the Cromwell Straight. Not enough though to keep it up the inside into Brian's Bend. Ashley Mason King now looking all over the back of Alex Haig. Is he going to go for a move here on the final lap of the race as the leaders are still fighting as well? We've got Haiden Harris going defensive against Colin Marshall. Hassan Zafar seeing if he can capitalise on this battling here, as now we're in to the last 3 corners of the race.
It's been a fantastic scrap for the lead. It's still a fantastic scrap for the minor positions further behind as Ashley Mason King goes to the inside line and tries to find a way through into the chicane. You can't go side by side there, but he's going to brave it out and make probably the best move of the day so far. Ashley Mason-King. Haiden Harris looks like he's going to take victory. We'll wait to see the leaders as they make their way around the final corner, and there you can see Haiden Harris taking victory ahead of Colin Marshall, but it was a drag race line, just 1/10 of a second between the two of them. There goes Ashley Mason-King trying to muscle his way through into the final corner, does exactly that. Lewis Jolley tries to stream across the line ahead, but he can't quite do so. Kale Simmons drops to 5th as Ashley Mason-King finishes 4th.
What a final lap of the race that was then. Haiden Harris just about held off Colin Marshall at the end there as they went across the line side by side, with Haiden Harris winning that race by just over 1/10 of a second. Hassan Zafar then came home just behind in P3. He was only 4/10 off of the win, whilst Ashley Mason-King made that fantastic last corner overtake to finish in 4th place and head a train of 12 cars across the finish line. It's Carl Simmons who came home just behind him, 1.5 tenths behind in 5th position, with Lewis Jolley going side by side with Carl Simmons across the line in 6th. Andy Lacey did a great job then to finish up in 7th position, having started in 15th place on the grid, whilst James Clare finished up in P8, just ahead of Alex Haig, who held on to the top super heavyweight spots. Simon Fortune then came home just behind in 10th position, ahead of Sol Gregory, whilst Adam Thompson ended up falling down to 12th place at the finish, whilst Jack Metcalf also fell down to 13th place, having started up in 3rd. He'll be hoping for better luck next time. Jamie Moore then recovered to 14th place at the end, ahead of Arthur Bennett, whilst Ian Simpson unfortunately had that spin towards the end of that race. He came home in 16th place, whilst Ian Wilson was put back into position. He had a car issue at the end there, which is why he had to retire, so he was put back into 17th place, whilst James Larson came home in 18th place, with Zhao Fengyang getting a 30-second penalty for that incident with Ian. We can hear now from our race winner, Haiden Harris, who's down in the pit lane with Josh Wynn.
Alright, come on in. Well done. That looked a little bit stressful for a lot of that race.
Yeah, Colin pushed me wherever he's going. What was the nice things? It was a little bit stressful. I made a mistake going into Gasworks, which caught Colin back up.
Yeah.
But then it was all right defending. When he got up me inside going into Gasworks, I was a bit
it looked like every time you came out the paddock bend to come onto Conrad, you were straight across defending. You weren't giving an inch to him there.
I mean, I need to. He is my teammate for this event, but he's also my championship rival, as he's sitting 2nd, I'm sitting 3rd in Northern. So I kind of had to.
I mean, that's the best way. Teammates that are top of the it's like McLaren. There you go.
Literally, yeah. But that was good. Hopefully the next one will be even better. I need the points, so we'll see what happens, and hopefully it will go well.
Yeah, wish you the best luck, man. Well done.
Thank you very much.